Put it on, girl. Let me see it. Put it on, girl. Let me see it.
Welcome to Accidentally Informed, where your favorites come to spill the trending tea. I'm Erica Cobb and my co-host Claudia Jordan. First of all, we want to thank all of you who have been out supporting the movie Run. Make sure you go on Fandango, continue to support because it's such an amazing project. It's not often that we see Black and brown women leading a sci-fi thriller. So make sure you check it out. Claudia is on location again because your girl is booked and busy. But don't worry because I am here and I get by with a little help from my friends. So for those of you who may not be familiar with our guest host today, she has been in Unscripted in the Bravo world. She has taught you to crawl before you ball in terms of finances because she definitely helped me get my coins together. And now she's all about lifestyle and wellness under Mrs. MD. Please welcome my friend and co-host for today, Buffie Purcelle.
Oh, girl. Yes. Thank you so much for that. I need to hire you as my publicist.
You know what? I could actually, because I was like rattling off just your IMDb, basically. Like this
Right.
is all the things. This is her portfolio. I am so excited you're here, affectionately known as Auntie Buffie, but we're the
Auntie
same age.
Buffie.
So.
So I'm everyone's auntie, including
Yes.
Erica. She's younger than me.
Not by much, if that's true. Okay. Well, we won't even get into it. We won't even get into it. How are you?
Great. And you? How are you? I miss you.
I miss you. I am doing wonderfully. I am so excited to have you on Accidentally Informed. If you have been checking out some of our clips and stuff, you know that last week we were on the Breakfast Club. So we're still encouraging people, yes, to go on over to the Breakfast Club on YouTube and watch that episode, comment, and also while you're here, Informers, like, subscribe and follow. Let me get a couple of comments here because Whit Waters says, Buffy, yes. Lorraine Williams says, hi panel and everyone, happy hump day. We appreciate you. Happy afternoon, lady, or Wednesday afternoon, ladies. Tremaine Young. So thank you, Informers, for being with us. Make sure you tell a friend to get accidentally informed. So Buffy, we have some trending topics that we would like to talk to you about. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay.
And may I say, I'm so proud of you with everything that you're doing. Your production company, this show. I love you. I'm so proud of you. You're so inspirational to everyone.
I feel the same about you, girl. We have been together for a minute.
For a long time, child.
Yes. So this is so full circle and I really appreciate you because you already know. You already know.
Ditto.
Yes. All right, girl. Well, let's get into it because Snoop Dogg.
Oh,
a lot of folks talking. This weekend, after his comments about the kids' flick Lightyear, in case you missed it, here's what Snoop Dogg said.
So we watching it, and the lady, which is Kiki's mama, they move on into the space years. They move down the line. They're like, man, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, shit. I didn't come in for this. Just came to watch a goddamn movie. So it's like, I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for.
Now, after that interview, Marlon Wayne's name got dragged into this drama when a post claiming that he clapped back as Snoop Dogg went viral. Well, the problem is the post was completely fake. So Marlon says the feud is nothing but clickbait. And if he had an issue with Snoop, they'd settle it like brothers, not on Instagram. So Buffy, what's your take on Snoop's comments? And why is Marlon constantly dragged into these conversations?
Child, Snoop is being Snoop. You know, we know he was shucking and jiving for the Orange Goblin. So, you know, it's all part of his, whatever. And so, it's not so hard, Snoop, to just explain to a child that, people could have adopted or they could have a surrogate. It takes like 5 minutes to explain that to a child. But Marlon's like, why my name in it? Why I always get, because he's clickbait. he's clickbait, it's clickbait economics. And he's outspoken, he's handsome, he's well known. And so, some thirsty blogger out there was probably like, let's throw him in it and let me get a coin. And that's why it happened, child.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I do want to add to the Marlon narrative, though, because I think that in a lot of ways, it speaks volumes in a positive way for Marlon Wayans that his name would be dragged into this conversation, because he has been unapologetically very supportive of the LGBTQIA plus community. And it would make sense that it wasn't far from what we know to be the reality and how he moves in conversations like this. But I have to go back to what you said before. I've been very open about my fertility journey and then my gestational carrier journey. And I have a 6-year-old niece who explained how babies get here without necessarily having bio mom and bio dad carrying them, or one or the other, in a situation like that. And she's 6.
Right.
So I'm very concerned about why it's so difficult for Snoop to explain to his child the idea that there are relationships that aren't heteronormative and they're able to have children. Like, why was that such a moment for pause? It gives me pause about just the idea of his knowledge of science, or I mean, it really does. It really does. I mean,
he needs to be worried about how he's going to explain them music videos and them lyrics to that grandchild later. That's what he needs to be worried about.
Well, and people
his
have
stance
come for
with
him
his
on
current
that.
President. But, that's just me. It's not
Who
that
was
difficult
it?
to explain to kids.
Billy Porter had the clapback. So then Marlon's name got dragged into it, but I'm pretty sure that Billy Porter's clapback telling him what he might need to be aware of to explain to his grandchildren was 100% verified.
Facts. And I love Billy. Hey, Billy.
I know. I love me a Billy Porter
Me
moment.
too.
I mean, Billy Porter can do no wrong in my eyes.
None.
Right, let's move on to someone who's constantly being accused of doing wrong, but it seems like she might just be living her life. Cardi B has been cleared in a $24 million assault trial, but so many things happen in this trial. So let's get into it. Yesterday, outside the courthouse, a reporter asked Cardi if she was pregnant. She fired back by literally throwing a marker and saying, "Don't disrespect me." And let's start with that, because that was a very viral moment. What was your take on that moment with Cardi?
First of all, who asked a woman that? When is it ever right to ask a woman if she's pregnant? Never. That's none of your business. That's none of your business. I'm glad that she didn't hit anybody with the marker, because I don't want any more frivolous lawsuits filed against her. But why are people always coming for a woman's appearance and asking improper questions like that? That's none of your darn business. All you should have asked was how she feeling after she won this frivolous lawsuit. That's it.
I mean, it seems like that is it's between these last two stories. I'm really thinking about it like this. We've come so far,
right?
Yet we have so much further to go. The idea that in the first story, you have a very grown man not able to explain how babies come into this world. And then on the other side, you have this conversation of a woman who we don't know what her status is because she hasn't announced it, and it's none of our business. But I thought we were pretty clear with the idea that we don't ask and we allow a woman to protect herself, her energy, and if there's a child or not, by letting them give that type of announcement. And it was pervasive. I mean, it felt like, yes, she was, obviously in a trial, and that means that you're on the stand. There's questions that are asked, but this is outside of the courthouse. Okay?
Right.
So those things don't matter. What did happen in the courthouse was that the not prosecutor, but the attorney went on to ask several questions. The defense tried to make her ever-changing hairstyles part of the case. What do we think? Was this really about the trial, or was this about the drama and the reality TV of it all?
This was drama, reality TV, trying to make Cardi seem erratic and unstable because she keeps changing her hair and her look every day, when that's just a form of expression. And I just wonder, if she wasn't brown, would they have asked her about her hair if she was changing it every day? And that's a very real, concern. Additionally, asking her about how long her nails are, I felt that was all like trying to disarm her, to like make her less on point in terms of her responses, so they could like get her to like, cuss them out or act out, so they could say, see, this is what she did to this security guard, this security woman. And so, it was totally inappropriate. It had nothing to do with the case. I'm surprised the judge didn't, step in and handle that, because why are you asking her about her appearance? It's totally inappropriate.
Yeah, and it goes on. Let's bring up Salon Precise says he asked her if there will be a paternity issue between Offset and new boyfriend.
People have no coof. Like, that ain't none of your business. Like, are you kidding me? What does that have to do with this court trial?
I think what it has to do with is we have seen this celebriturney thing happening in very real time. And anytime these legal professionals, not all of them, but some of them, get someone who's high profile, they want to make a name for themselves, and they're willing to fame or shame themselves in order to do it. And that's what I saw with this attorney, not to be named, because we don't know that name. We don't know that person. Because if you're going to exploit someone for your own, celebriturney status, then you deserve exactly what you get, because that's the energy that you're giving, and it's very nasty. I say, sorry. I was like, I'm trying to like read the comments and put the
no
comments
worries.
up and drive the show. Just for you informers, some of you are just coming in. We want to let you know that Claudia is out this week. She is on a movie set, and we're excited to hear from her all about what she's doing. But we have Miss Buffie Purcelle, who is a friend of mine. Also, you have seen her on the small screen in several iterations. You've also been on my former show, DBL, as well as Crawl Before You Ball and Mrs. MD. So check Auntie Buffie out on social media, because she is live and activated all the time.
Thank you, Erica.
Yes. Well, speaking of unscripted, let's get into Porsha, because Porsha Williams, this is strange to me. It feels like a jump, but I want to get your take on it. Porsha has been putting out some things on social media that's asking or having people ask if she's broke or business savvy, which is, it feels like a reach. So the Real Housewives star expected $40,000 a month and half the mansion from her divorce. But after Simon's deportation, she hasn't seen a dime. Now she's posting racy lingerie shots to sell wigs, but fans say it looks like it's more than hair. So Buffy, when the settlement money doesn't show, what options do you have to stay afloat? I don't know if you even want to take it there, because this is your domain with Crawl Before You Ball. So what are your thoughts on this?
First, I want to say Porsha looks great. Okay, haters? She looks great. And we've seen Porsha naked forever. This ain't new. Why are we acting like Porsha hasn't posted racy pictures or been scantily clad in everything? This is Porsha's brand. And I think Porsha gets a bad rep. I think people, they think she's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, kind of like they did Jessica Simpson. But guess who's worth $1 billion now? Jessica Simpson, right? I think Porsha plays that dumb blonde, whatever thing for her brand, and she does what she needs to do. She's selling hair and her body, okay? So her body is going to show you the hair, and you're going to buy the hair. I've bought some of her hair before, back when I used to wear hair. So I'm on a new journey now of natural, try to be like Erica. So, I think people need to fall back. I don't think she's broke. Now, listen, this man has moved to a whole new hemisphere. She ain't getting no money from him. It's not gonna happen. The divorce decree, the judgment, the paper she filed for a contempt motion, all that, she did everything she was supposed to do. But when somebody is all the way across the world, it's very difficult to collect. I know that personally. when you get a judgment from someone, it's hard to collect. It ain't worth the papers on if you can't get the money from the person.
Mhm.
So if I was Porsha, and I have a soft spot in my heart for Porsha. Porsha is Auntie Buffie. I know you don't need my advice, but I'm just going to tell you, sell that house, baby. Gonna sell it. Gonna sell the house. I know you love it. It's gorgeous. It's in my neighborhood. It's beautiful. Sell it. Sell the house. Make sure that your attorneys add all them judgments against that title, against the lien of that house. So when you sell it, his portion of the profit he doesn't get, right? Because he got to pay up. Because he does owe you that alimony. He owes you for the car. He owes you for countless other things. And so rack that up against the equity in the house. Sell the house and going to get you and the baby something else. And if you want to stay there, and you got it figured out, and Porsha may have figured out, for all we know, Porsha got another African paying for this house. We don't know. Porsha, I don't think Porsha is not financially intelligent. I think she knows how to keep a bag.
Mhm.
And she's always been selling the hair. This is nothing new. Why you hating, y'all? She has a brand. She makes very good money per episode, I'm sure, on Bravo. Right. And they ain't getting rid of her no time soon. And so, fall back, leave her alone. But if you need me, call me.
Yeah, let me tell you though, for those of you who are new to Buffy and her brands throughout years, I mean, just to be very clear, and I've brought you up in so many different capacities because I don't gatekeep. And that's something we have in common because you haven't gatekept or gatekept on financial advice for me. I have followed the things that you have instructed me to do. I have been my bank account is thanking you for those decisions.
I've seen the spreadsheets and I'm very proud.
Buffy and I met almost, I guess, 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We've been connected for 5 years, and the advice that you gave me very early on, we put into action, and I have seen the fruits of all of that labor. Okay. So when we had this conversation just a couple weeks before, because it was in the news or, pop culture about Porsha's home and the idea that is she able to keep it and can she afford it? And my advice was to sell it, simply because I'm also thinking in that $5 to $7 million range, you could be sitting on the market for a year or more.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're needing to fire sale in maybe 6 months or a year, then it would just, to me, it made more sense to put the house on the market now. And then if you can wait out a year, then it's not a stressful year. But if you have to do a fire sale,
right,
then that's going to be a completely different animal. So I do appreciate you bringing that up because we kind of got into it in the comments and stuff. Does that make sense? Does it not make sense?
It makes sense to sell it. It doesn't make sense to sit on it. The upkeep on that property. I get it when you're family and, you're married and you got all that stuff and you fall in love with a home. But if he's not going to meet his financial obligation, which he's demonstrated he's not going to do, then, baby, go on to sell it. And you can find you something lovely and get your money. And that's another way, honestly, for her to get her money that he owes her out of the equity in the house that he would be, entitled to half of the equity. She can charge that against that. And so I think it would be savvy to sell the house now. And really, sales right now are doing well in that price market in Buckhead and Atlanta. So, go on and get your coin.
Yes, no, absolutely. And I also I think here's another thing that's not even about the finances of it. When you are in creating sanctuary with someone and that sanctuary is destroyed for whatever reason, and this is under the roof of where all of these things have happened, there's a tendency there for that to be spirit or someone might be trying to move you out. When you start fighting against spirit, it will come for you in a different type of way. So I think if anything, if this is the end of this chapter, for that reason alone, get out.
I agree with you 100% of it. God forbid if anything ever happened with Dave and I wouldn't stay in this house because everything about it would remind me of him. I
Mhm.
wouldn't stay here. I just wouldn't. I love our home, but I couldn't because it's a home we built together, and
Right.
they bought that house together, and I would just think she sees him everywhere, and I'm sure that's painful for her. So let it go. And she's smart.
Yeah.
She got her other house. She gave it to her mama. Porsha got money. Okay, y'all.
I
Fall back.
I was like, the math does math that Porsha has money. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna be very clear on
She's
that.
good. Porscha's
I think
good.
she's okay. You can always be better. You can always be better. But I think I'm out of all the people that I'm concerned about or in that space, she's not one of them.
Agreed.
Informers. Thank you for listening and watching Accidentally Informed. Claudia Jordan is off today. She's filming another movie because we know our girl does not sleep. But I'm Erica Cobb, and today I am joined by my friend. I was going to say the unscripted, scripted TV star, Miss Buffie Purcelle, author and financial auntie. Okay, let's get to our next story. And also, I just wanted to share some comments because our informers are the absolute best. Los Lounge,
Informers.
Carlos. Los Lounge podcast. XOXO Erica. I was on Los Lounge's podcast a couple weeks ago. Y'all check that out. Los is the best. Love you to death. Christine R says the ancestors don't play. Ciao.
Period.
I'm telling you. I don't even, and I tell other people too, like people will come for me and I'm like, listen, I'm nice, but my people, they don't care.
Right. Folks learning that about Auntie Buffy too. Don't come for me.
I'm like, I'm fragile. They know I'm fragile, so they soldier up for me. Let me tell you.
I don't have to do anything, honey. They gonna handle it.
And then you be like, I tried to tell you.
Tried to warn y'all.
Yes. Siobhan Lewis says, I love Auntie Buffy. This is such a great surprise. So glad she is filling in today as a guest. Yes.
Hey, Siobhan. Thank you, darling.
So excited. So excited. All right, let's move on to our next story. Okay, so we all know, and this isn't something that we talk about a lot because although I am an honorary Swiftie, those of you who are,
I'm sorry.
You didn't know I was an honorary Swiftie?
I actually didn't.
Oh my gosh, yes. So those of you informers who have been watching, I think I talked about this the very first episode that we dropped back in December, which really surprised Claudia too. Everyone is surprised by this, but this is what happened. So the way that I became an honorary Swiftie was that there was a story about Scooter Braun buying Taylor's masters. And I made a comment that it sounded like Scooter wanted to be the master, not buy the master. Ooh. And then I went in to defend Taylor Swift because I think, first of all, she is a very talented person, an artist. She's a woman in business. And I do not like to see that type of tactic happening for anyone. Now, at the time, I did not realize that the Swifties were like this like army, right? I wasn't tapped into this. But I soon found out because I woke up on a Sunday and my phone basically disintegrated from all of the alerts. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now because I was like, something is happening. It was a Sunday morning, okay? Normal Sunday morning. And my phone, like the way my battery was draining from all of the notifications I was getting was crazy. But luckily, I was on the right side.
Right. That's like, don't play with Beyonce, don't play with Taylor. Okay, I got you.
I had no idea. So it got so much noise that the Swifties anointed me an honorary Swiftie, which I accepted because that was like a very powerful thing. And then someone else in the story reached out to me because they wanted to clarify what the situation was, which also was very shocking to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just a girl from Denver. How did I end up in this storm? So that's how I became an honorary Swiftie. And ever since then, I always give the Swifties love because they have given love to me. So That's
All
the
right.
story.
Shout out to the Swifties.
That's right. That's right. We are shouting out the Swifties and some of them have also named themselves cobblers. Anyway,
Oh, cute.
yeah.
Love that.
Enough about that. So Taylor Swift, obviously, congratulations are in order. Her and Travis Kelce are engaged. Now, here's the thing. We don't talk about Taylor and Travis a lot. Obviously, there's another name that is involved in the story, and that is Travis's ex-girlfriend, who we have talked about, Kayla. And just the idea that we do not want, and I have used my powers for good in this. There's no sense in really having this conversation because that relationship is over, and I would like to see people leave her alone. I don't see that being a part of it. But we want your financial expertise because obviously they both worth a lot of money. Taylor, a lot more. Estimated 1.6 billion.
Ooh, child.
And Travis is worth an estimated 70 million. So what does a prenup look like for them? And do you see any world where they don't sign one?
Child. Yes, there's a prenup. 100%. And it's a Fort Knox clause. It's a big font. What is mine, and what is yours is yours. I mean, they're both fine. Like 70 million is nothing to sniff at, and 1.6 billion is fantastic. And girl, do your thing, Taylor. Do your thing, boo. And I think she ended up buying her masters. Yes.
So she re-recorded and so she did Taylor's versions. So yeah, she does have
so she
ownership
owns
over-
yeah. So she owns her catalog. Yeah. So no, she's just gonna continue to make more and more money. And so will Travis. They're gonna have an ironclad Fort Knox clause, no problems. There'll probably be an ironclad NDA. You ain't kissing and telling. You ain't going on your brother's podcast if we break up and run your mouth about what happened in this marriage. Not mouth, but mouth with an F. And I think that, if they acquire which things together while they're, married, if Taylor pays 95% of it, if they get divorced, she's going to get 95% of the profit of it. And that's just how it is. It's clean, simple business, and nobody should have a problem with it whatsoever. Honestly, I think everybody should have prenups. I don't care if how much money you make. Everybody should have a prenup because, listen, let me tell you something about Auntie Buffy. If Uncle Dave and I were to get divorced and he did something shady and we didn't have a prenup, I would be a nasty, messy broad. Baby, it would be horrible. So for his safety, I was like, bro, go and sign this prenup. And then you got to get a postnup. Because if you don't get that, the prenup don't mean nothing. So...
Wait,
right.
So if you don't get a
later, you gotta go back and say, okay, we've been together for a little while, and so now things have changed. We're gonna change it, or we're gonna leave it the way it is. You've got to do that, or it invalidates the prenup. So yeah,
really,
yeah.
So what about like in situations for estate planning? Because we've definitely had that conversation on, we've had that conversation like a few times, but like estate planning. Does that somehow work its way into like a post-nup situation? How does that work? Yeah,
they'll probably create a trust together for what they are acquiring together as a couple, like real estate and other things that they do. You never know. They could do, TV shows, produce things, whatever, together. And they'll create basically essentially a company together, and all those assets will be held there. And they'll determine, who gets what of that. And there'll be somebody that is the executor of that trust, and they'll handle it. But know that before, she probably had her prenup already written out for whenever somebody proposed years ago. Honey, a savvy businesswoman like Taylor Swift, I'm sure she had that already figured out. And I don't think Travis is going to have any problems with it, because quite honestly, if she wasn't worth as much as she's worth, he would have one as well for whomever he married.
Yeah, so. No, that's true, T.
Right. So nobody should have a problem, honey. We both got money. She has more. And so I'm going to keep what I've built. You keep what you built, and what we, grow together, we'll split. And that's fine. And that's fair. And everybody should do that. Everybody should do that.
So when you say everybody.
Well, you make $30,000 a year. He make 40. Yep. Because You likely have a 401k. You likely have some sort of brokerage account. You likely, a lot of the people that when I was still in practice the women would own their home before they got married. Then you get married and he has student loan debt and he asked you to put him on the title of the house. And now the IRS coming after you, like you, handle all that from the jump. I need your credit pulled. I need to know what skeleton's going to jump out. You got to do a full FBI level financial background when you get married because, most marriages end because of financial problems, right?
Yeah.
And so you need to talk about that from the beginning. If you can't talk about that, how you get married?
That's true. That's true. I think it's an interesting conversation in this landscape because we are so inundated with a lot of like just aesthetic images of privilege, whether it's earned or it's just being portrayed. We're having these conversations like, the soft life or, should we be taking care of, like all of these things that we don't really have the proper foundation to even talk about this in a way that makes financial sense, So it's kind of like a disconnect between what we're seeing, like the aesthetic presentation on social media and what's actually happening behind the scenes. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, and you you bring up an interesting point about the soft life girlies and women, and I'm here for it. But don't live so much of that soft life where you're not on any of the titles or deeds, and you don't know where the money is, and you don't know if your spouse was to pass away or leave you, and you don't know how to pay bills or get a credit card or balance a checkbook. Those are things you need. You can have a soft life and garden all day and do the fabulousness, but you also need to know where the money is.
Yeah.
And have your eyeballs on what's going on financially in your relationship. And so, I think that's a very interesting point. You're absolutely right. All too often when I was in practice, someone's wife would die and the husband never did anything with the bills. He just turned over the whole check and you don't hear this often, but it happens a lot to the wife. And he didn't know who to pay the mortgage to. Didn't they, you need to know these things. If you're not the person doing that every month in the household, you still need to know where to find these documents, who to, call. Like there was a trend on TikTok where they were like, I can't pay the mortgage this month. I don't know if you've seen that one. And a lot of the husbands were laughing like, when have you ever paid the mortgage? Do you even know who the mortgage company is? And that's cute, but not really.
Yes, I do know that trend because I tried it on my husband, Anthony. I don't do a lot of like trend stuff. So he was Trey confused. And he just looked up at me and I'm holding my phone like, I don't think I can pay the mortgage this month. And he goes, okay, I got it.
I did it on Dave too. And Dave was like, when have you ever paid? Girl, please. He was like, you're the pretty one. Be pretty. But I can tell you this, I may be pretty, but I know who the mortgage company is. I will too. Don't make me call Anthony.
I know. I was like, I couldn't figure out how to turn the air conditioning on earlier. So I was like, call it. This is a don't be like me in this season of my life. I was a lot better a few years ago. Now I've gotten a little busier and I need to update some things, but
she's enjoying herself. Nothing wrong with that.
Yes, this is a good reminder. Okay, let's talk about King's Court because we have been following King's Court on Bravo. Buffy, I know that you haven't been watching it, but you are familiar with most of the players that we are going to talk about. And I'm saying players in terms of people, not players in terms of, being running the streets. Okay. So we're going to do a little catch up. Now, the show features 3 kings. It's Tyson Beckford, who of course we know, Carlos Boozer, the basketball player, and Thaddeus O'Neal from WWE. Now, they are looking for love in a house filled with women. Now, over the weeks, they've been narrowing down the search. All right. They started off with 21 women, and now there are just 7 queens left. They had to go on a road trip scavenger hunt, and the kings then chose one queen for a private date. Now, this is where it gets a little juicy. Think like fantasy suite without the fantasy suite, because now this is the first time that we're seeing it like become potentially a relationship. So I'm invested in this. So first, we're going to talk about Carlos. He told Janae that he loves her and asked her to be his girlfriend. Now, Janae has been kind of like the day one for Carlos. Claudia and I called this since day one of the show. It seemed very evident that Carlos is someone who falls hard and fast. Okay. So here's my question. How soon is too soon, in your opinion, to say, I love you?
So wait, we on what, episode 5? He on and baby in love already? Child, yeah, too soon. Boo, really? On the TV show? You already? I mean, people fall, love at first sight. I don't know if that's lasting. That's concerning. Like literally, what episode they on?
I think it's episode 6? Yeah, episode 6.
Yeah, no, baby, you ain't in love. You in lust. And what did the woman say when he told her?
She said that I am falling in love with you too. What? Buffy?
She said, I am falling in love with you too. Like, not there yet, but we're getting there. Oh, that was a polite way to say, baby, we ain't there yet.
Well, here's the thing. So it was one of those situations, and you're spot on about the idea of being in lust, because from the moment that he walked onto set, he had identified Janae, pink dress, he said. He had identified her from the moment that he saw just the first 7 contestants, if you will. Now, over the course of the last few episodes, or really last 5 episodes, he was all about Janae and she was all about him. But then Jennifer showed up.
Ooh,
And
who's
then
Jennifer?
all of a sudden, Jennifer was like, basically, Carlos has roots in Seattle. Jennifer had roots in Seattle. Carlos had roots in Florida. Jennifer had roots in Florida. And Jennifer was a very cute, sexy girl. And he kind of played Janae a little bit. So when he came back and said, oh, it's you, I'm in love with you. And she said, well, I'm falling in love with you too. I think that she was trying to protect herself, because it's like, you've already clowned me once. That back and forth thing. Yeah.
So they're dating around.
Yes.
Okay. And he likely used the other lady to try to make her. Okay. Oh, I have to watch. Oh.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And I think it has an interesting dynamic because we obviously know these 3 kings. And it's the women, like they're such a great caliber of women. These are professional women. They have their business going on. It's actually kind of shocking that you got this type of cast
to be on it.
Right. And that's no shade to anyone who's been on a show like this in terms of finding love. But I do think that the caliber, or, in terms of the professionalism and how much you have going on in your life, can tend to dwindle when you're talking about a dating show that's being filmed over the course of 3-4 weeks.
Erica's so nice, y'all. We know exactly what you mean, honey. We know exactly what you mean. So they got, great. So now I'm already hooked. Now I didn't realize this. Okay, so it's not the typical.
Which there's nothing wrong.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Girls, get your bag. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But so no, that's interesting. And then also I saw the Holly Robinson Pete and her husband. Are they the hosts?
Rodney Pete. Yes, they are the hosts, because Queen's Court, I think, was on VH1. So there's a Queen's Court version. They've done 2 seasons. think the first season was with Nivea and Lisa Ray, and there was
Love Lisa.
yeah. And there was one other person. I think there's been 2 seasons of Queen's Court. So this is the first time that we're getting King's Court, and they moved it to Bravo, which I thought was a very interesting move. And I'm interested in knowing more about how that happened
Mm-hmm.
and if we can expect that to continue. Because, I was like, oh, so we're putting 3 black men starring
Right. Bingo. Bingo. Not normal for that network. You're right. Yeah.
I'm
so
that's why
good.
I'm like,
Diversity. Good.
I'm like, we have to support this show.
I
you
will
guys.
now.
Like,
I will. I will
so
absolutely support it.
important because we want more programming like this.
Right.
I love it's on Bravo.
All right. Okay. All right. Now
Yeah.
tell me more. What's
Okay,
going
all
on
right.
with these people?
We're moving on to Thaddeus. Now, Thaddeus, I adore Thaddeus.
Oh, he's so cute.
Oh my gosh, he's so cute. Thaddeus left his private date with Catherine after bringing up her jealousy. Catherine then dropped in on Tyson and Carlos's private dates with other women in the house. So to talk about, basically to air her grievances about how Thaddeus responded to her. So is jealousy ever a sign of love, or is it always a deal breaker? Yeah, you're
It's
still
a
stuck
deal
on her
breaker
dropping
when it's
in some other
episode
dates.
5 or 6 of a show and then you interrupting somebody else's dates with your drama. Girl, interrupting somebody else's dates talking about this. That's not cute at all. If you have a problem with that, go talk to him. Don't be going to other people's dates, ruining and talking about the mess. That's crazy. So like jealous, like real jealous, because what, he's dating other people, which is what the show is about.
Right. But that's the conundrum, though, because these are women who are used to being pursued. So the idea that 21 or 7 to 21 women are in the house who are high valued women. I don't know. I don't know how else to.
No, not high value.
So it probably is. I mean, can you imagine vying for a man? You're living in a house with a bunch of other women, and they're like women that you would be like sister friends with.
Right.
Like, and then you're like competing for the affections of these 3 dudes. One of them, Tyson, is
I get
like
the fight for Tyson.
It's probably like really a mind, it's a crazy thing for your mind because you're like, what is wrong with you? I have not engaged in a dynamic like this with a man since junior high, maybe kindergarten.
Right. So it's difficult for her because she's not used to it. She's used to being the high value woman in the room. And so now you're in a sea of other high value women who are equally as successful and beautiful and smart as you are. And so that may be difficult for her. Well, baby, it is what it is. But don't be going around interrupting other people's dates. That ain't cute. Nuh-uh. Talk to Thaddeus about it.
Yeah, well, Siobhan Lewis says Thaddeus is controlling. Thaddeus is now for a second time having a problem with the woman expressing her displeasure with the messy behavior of other women. Okay, Siobhan, I'm glad that you brought this up because yes. So Thaddeus, we had one of the queens from King's Court, Dr. Shawanda, on last week.
Mm-hmm.
And she was explaining because there was a scene between her and Thaddeus because Thaddeus had referenced her as aggressive for a few times. Yeah. And so she had a sit down with him, basically explaining that she is not aggressive, she's assertive, and why this was a detrimental comment to make to her. So if y'all want to check that out, that was last week's episode. We had Dr. Shawana on, and she was amazing because I thought in that moment when I was watching it, one, I really gave her a lot of credit for checking that in the moment and knowing how important it was, not only for her to clarify it, but for us in the audience to hear it. I was disappointed that he seemingly didn't understand how harmful that could be. But then I kind of, to that comment, I was feeling some type of way too. Thaddeus is a very strong personality, like alpha on alpha. He is also very he's emotionally intelligent, but I feel like there's so much to him that it comes across very like his way or the highway. And I don't know if that's like playing as well on television. Now he's getting a great balanced edit. I don't feel like I don't like Thaddeus. Love
Mm-hmm.
Thaddeus. But I
Mm-hmm.
do think that he might look back on some of these things and be like, oh, there's room for improvement for me too.
So how did he take what the doctor told him about using that term, especially with a Black woman? How did he react when she explained to him how that is not what you're supposed to do?
He was very responsive.
Oh,
And
good.
he listened, he repeated back some of the things that she said, like he was clearly actively listening, and he was saying that he would be mindful that that wasn't what he meant, but he understands what the impact. I mean, it couldn't have gone any better, to
Mm-hmm.
be quite honest. That's why I'm like, I think that when we are looking at people on television, we want it to be very much like a 3D thing, but
Mm-hmm.
people are a lot of times 5D. There's so many different layers to us as humans, and we can get caught, especially when you're on camera that much, showing some of those things that aren't necessarily our light side. And that can be okay if we're willing to work on that.
I'm so glad that she broke that down on Bravo so that a lot of people can learn that lesson, not to refer to people who are just asserting their opinion and speaking, without holding their tongue as aggressive and defending themselves. I think that's wonderful. Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead. I'm impressed.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm. Very interesting, huh?
Very interesting. Many layers. Mm.
Well, let's talk about our final king, which is Tyson.
Yeah.
Okay. Tyson
Oh, child.
is with Felicia, and they are hot and heavy. But when it's all physical, can a relationship like that actually last? What say you, Buffy?
Well, I'm going to say this. If you don't have the physical, the relationship ain't going to. So I think they have a great ingredient upon to grow the relationship, because if you don't have the physical, baby, it's not gonna work. You can have so much in common with someone, and have mutual respect and love and all that stuff, but if the physical ain't there, that's when problems happen. So I feel like if they're super hot and heavy and attracted to each other and can't keep their hands off each other, and they are continuing to date and learn more about each other, and they can add to this cake that they're building, then they'll and then they could put it in the oven and it'll grow and it'll be a delicious cake. But if you don't have the yeast, if you don't have the hot and the bubbles when that person walks in the room, the like, oh, I just gotta have him, it's not going to work. It
Yeah.
just won't. And we both know that it's married women. You gotta have that. You still gotta get the goosebumps. It's been 25 years for me. And every time he walks in the room, I'm still like, oh, now some days he get on my darn nerves. It's just marriage. But 99.9% of the time, I'm still like, oh my gosh, that's my man. He's so lovely. You gotta have that. You have
Yeah.
to. And if you're missing that ingredient, when the bad stuff happens, it's
Mhm.
difficult to weather it.
A million percent. A
Mhm.
million percent. I do think that both of those things feed into each other too. Like, I mean, Anthony and I have been married for 9 years. We've been together for over a decade at this point. Yeah, and it's like now I'm really seeing what the formula is and how that formula kind of like ebbs and flows from like year or month 1 to year 10, year 11. And it's like where it might have been like 80% physical, 20%. And then it's like this whole like, sometimes you're like 50-50. Then it's like,
Right.
oh, when it gets to a certain percentage, you're like, okay, bring some of this back over here because
Right. Right. But it's like, if you're struggling financially, let's say, which is most marriage problem, but he laying it down.
I don't know,
Sometimes it's
Buffy.
easier to weather that
Yeah.
storm. You know I'm gonna tell it, honey. So, I mean, I think it's an important ingredient in a relationship. And so good for them if they're all over each other. I mean, and they're the people that would say, well, that can fizzle out and just don't let it, keep that spark going. But I think that's a great start. And then you learn about each other and you grow together with the relationship and you develop mutual respect and love and trust and all that other stuff. That's not gonna come quickly anyway. But like if you don't have a hot and heavy, if you ain't like hot for the person, child.
I agree. I really agree, especially because when you said this earlier, when, bad times come and there are going to be, ups and downs. And when you're down, if you're not getting down, it does make it, it does make it a little bit more difficult. But I also think to just warn, especially women, because I feel like a lot of men can last a little longer in terms of like getting down to the deep stuff, but women, we can be emotional creatures. So my only thing and red flag about this situation with Felicia and Tyson is that they don't know fundamental things about one another. Like here we are weeks where, ahead where Carlos is professing his love and you don't have basic information about this man in terms of like siblings or, like where just basic fundamental things that people generally talk about on a first, second date, especially when you're living together. Basically, I mean, they're in the same house. I don't know if they're actually in the same house, but production is making it look that way. So yeah, that's my only thing is that you might want to get something that's a little bit can grab you more because Tyson's also one of those eligible bachelors who is always going to have access to the next beautiful thing. So if you don't have any connection there, I think that is problematic.
Yeah, I think you've got to have all those ingredients. And I hope they work on that. But baby, if I was on the show and I was single, I think I'd be hot and heavy with Tyson for a while too and enjoy myself. And work on that other stuff later.
I
find out about his siblings and stuff online, child. I don't know. Whatever. Let's get it in.
I think if you were there for a good time, you would go with Tyson. If you were there for a long time, I'm gonna be honest, Tyson was not given there for a long time.
So who's the guy that you think is the guy that you think is the guy that said he professed his love already? You think that's the guy that's the one that's the long-term good guy?
I think that Carlos comes across a little love bummy. I think, and this is just how they're coming across. Carlos is coming across love bomby. Tyson is coming across as total playboy. And Thaddeus is sitting right in the middle in a sweet spot. That's what it is. That's what it is. Informers, let me know what you think, because it's definitely a spectrum. And as the weeks go on, I'm like, okay, this is making a lot of sense. Like, to diversify the cast of kings, you have to have somebody who's like, I'm a player from the Himalaya.
And I love everybody immediately, and I'm the man, blah, blah, blah. But it sounds like from the way that Thaddeus responded to Dr. Shonda, is that her name? I'm sorry. Dr. Shawanda, that maybe he's somebody that could, learn. And be open to learning and growing with someone in a relationship. So you never know. Maybe the alpha male might be the one. Never know.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing Carlos. We already feel like it's a wrap, but Thaddeus is going to be kind of like, he's going to be the wild card. Yeah. It's going to come all the way down to the very end. And then we're going to be like, oh, that's the direction that he went in. Everybody else kind of feels like we see what's coming. But let me know in the comments, because we are going to go into the comments. Informers, make sure you like, subscribe. Thank you for hanging out with myself and Auntie Buffie Purcelle. You have been such an amazing co-host. Let's get into a few of the comments. Sherry Christian said, Buffie looked good.
Thank you, Sherry. So do you. Beautiful picture.
Yes. Thank you, Sherry. Let's see. Awesome. Oh, wait. Am I fighting with you guys? I think I'm fighting with production or with our producers. Ada, Peter, and Megan. I keep hitting the show button and then someone else is hitting a. Okay. Awesomely Bree says, thank you ladies for reviewing the show. There's a lot cut out, but connections were made. Oh, wait a minute, Bree. Bree from King's Court.
Oh, hey.
Wait a minute. Bree,
Come on and tell us the tea.
Tell us more.
We want to know the tea. And I'm going to start watching now. Erica made me a believer.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. Yes, Bree. Oh my goodness. First of all, Bree is gorgeous and body yada yada.
I see in the photo.
Yeah.
Stunting.
Yes, she says yes. So we're communicating with Bree. We're going to see if Bree will give us some tea.
We want to know the tea, Bree. Come through.
Give us some tea, Bree. While she's doing that, let's see who else. Oh, yes. Siobhan says, I agree. Auntie Buffie is a great addition to this Accidentally Informed podcast. Thank you. Yes,
thank you, Siobhan.
Our guest informer. We got to do some other things, Buffy. We always have a good time.
Yes.
For those of you who are just joining, Claudia is on another movie set.
Work. Do it, Claudia. Congrats, boo. Do it.
It's so funny to me because people are always coming for Claudia talking about she needs a job. And I'm like, you actually can't even count as high as how many jobs Claudia.
And quit hating. Get your money, honey, and do your thing. She loves it, so let her do her thing. Like, people such haters, and she's stunning.
Such haters. Such haters. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see. We might have scared Bree.
Bree, come back through.
Yeah, we're waiting. Oh wait, yes, let's bring this. Los Lounge says, I saw Run. It was good. Yes.
Oh, good.
Run. It was great. Of course, Drew Sidora, Erica Mena, Erica Pinkett, Annie Alonza, Claudia Jordan.
Yes.
It was amazing. That was the most fun I have ever had in a movie.
Really?
Theater.
Well, I'm going to check it out. And Los, I'm going to follow your podcast when this is over so I can see Erica on there.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, we're going to see. Oh, there was okay, so we understand. Awesomely Bree says there was a lot that went down, ... because we know how this works.
We know.
Production's like, don't say.
Well, we gonna tune in. I'm tuning in now. I'm gonna get all caught up and I'm gonna be bothering Erica, texting her like, girl.
Yes. We'll have a lot to say about it. Buffy, tell us what's been going on with you. What would you like to share with our informers today?
Well, Auntie lost 100 pounds 2 years ago, and I started MRSMD, my wellness company. And so, we do GLP-1 weight loss management. We also do TMS which is transcranial magnetic stimulation for food cravings. We're getting into mental health. My husband's a psychiatrist because that's definitely a component of weight loss journey, getting to the root of why we overeat. And that definitely helped me doing cognitive behavioral therapy. And I've also been, enjoying a little bit of that, soft life, gardening and homesteading, and just enjoying being, happy and here.
I love that. Last week we talked about the controversy with Serena Williams and GLP-1. And a lot of people had a lot to say about the idea of there's other ways to do it, which is bonkers to me.
Oh gosh.
Serena Williams, so I'm sure she knows all the ways. So when you're talking about the cognitive therapy side, I think that's something that is of interest to a lot of people.
Yeah, it has to be a combination and not just one thing. And y'all fall back on Serena. She got all the money in the darn world. Now, if Serena couldn't get them last 30 pounds off on her own with every resource she had, clearly GLP-1s work. They turn off that food noise in your head and they enable you to make better choices. And now I lead a keto lifestyle. Before, that wouldn't have happened. It couldn't have. I needed that food noise to be turned down. And people don't stay on the GLP-1s forever. Like, I may get a shot once every 3 weeks. I don't do it every week anymore. You get to where you do a maintenance dose where you fully changed your lifestyle, you're exercising, working out, doing the things, and you don't have to do crazy stuff like kettlebells. You can do resistance bands, walking. There's just a whole, and listen, I was 100 pounds heavier, and I used to have every excuse in the world, but I have never felt better than I do now. And so start that journey, whether it's with my company or with any other company, or talk to your practitioner, because we want you to be here for a long time. Okay.
Yeah.
And block out all the noise from the haters, child. They just mad because they don't have carte blanche on being thin anymore.
That is a thing.
It is very much so.
That's definitely like everybody, a lot of people, there were some points that were made, but a lot of those points had to do with gatekeeping thin. Yep. It's like when that's been such a strong source of currency and form of currency in your life, it's like somebody just came in and robbed your bank.
Right. Because we're in the sample sales now, because we can fit size 4s now too. That's why y'all mad.
Yeah, yes. So how do people follow you and learn more about what you're doing in MRSMD?
So it's mrsmd.com. So it's Mrs. MD. And yes, Auntie trademarked that because she's about her business. She owns that trademark. And you can find me on social media everywhere at Auntie Buffie, on YouTube and TikTok, and on Instagram on Buffie Purcelle.
Love it. Love it. And love you, Buffie.
Love
Thank
you
you
more.
so much for hanging out with myself and the informers. There's so much love for you in the chat. Thank you to our informers. Make sure that you support our queen, Buffie. Go on over to her Instagram and her TikTok. Make sure you check out mrsmd.com, as well as check out our girl Claudia, because it's like you're looking at the yes, make sure you are supporting Run and Fandango this weekend or during this week. Get your tickets, and also run on over to the Shade Room. Not the Shade Room. Yes,
Breakfast Club.
Sorry. Breakfast Club. Y'all.
Breakfast Club.
I'm tie. The Breakfast Club's YouTube, and check out the episode with myself and Claudia. We want to make sure that we're supporting that. Like, subscribe, follow. Thank you again, informers. And thank you so much, Buffie Purcelle.
Thank you. The informers are so nice in the comments.
They're amazing, and they love you.
Love you too.
We love you. Thank you, Buffy.
Bye.
Put it on, girl. Let me see it. Put it on, girl. Let me see it.